Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Is Tom Brady going to the Raiders? How many Chucky heads am I going to give this one? You guys want to figure it out? 1, 2, 3. Guess what? I made the show for a simple reason. Tuck rule, tuck that, and that's what I'm giving this one. Tuck rule, tuck that. The amount of people that I've already seen put out articles that Tom Brady's going to the Raiders is sickening. So now I got to do it, okay? So is Brady going to the Raiders? No. Tuck rule, tuck that. I saw an article titled, Las Vegas is the place for Tom Brady. Who wrote it? The Las Vegas Review-Journal. Go figure. Now, I'm not going to mention the man who wrote this because personally I don't really think he deserves credit because I think it's idiotic. But do we really honestly think that Tom Brady is going to move his family to Las Vegas? A place where they probably drink more beer than they do water. Doesn't really sound like a place Tom Brady wants to go. Now, he says that Brady, okay, the man who wrote this, reduced his home value, which he is selling for, by the way, for $33.9 million, okay? Let's just put that into perspective. He's basically saying that Tom Brady wants to get out of New England so bad that he's willing to lose money on his $33.9 million home. Do we really think that Tom Brady is hurting for money right now? Heck, his wife, Giselle, laughs at $33.9 million. She's like, oh, Tom, you brought in $30 million last year? Good job, babe. Congratulations. So, would you guys want Tom Brady? Okay? That's what I'm trying to get to. If you would want Tom Brady, I want you to type 4 for Believe It, baby. Were you paying attention to my rumor scale? Or I want you to type 0 for Tuck Rule, Tuck That. So get it in the comments section for everyone who's watching on YouTube Live. If you're watching us live on Facebook, I appreciate you. Would you want Tom Brady? Type 4 for Believe It, baby. Or type 0 for Tuck Rule, Tuck That. If you are curious on where Tom Brady could potentially play next season, we made a video on our main chat sports channel. Believe it or not, I do more than the Raiders Report. So go to youtube.com/chatsportstv and you can see where we have the top teams where Tom Brady could play next season. The link is below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Okay, next rumor, we're going to stick with Tom Brady because I do think it's a little bit interesting. He is all over the news. Is Tom Brady going to play for 3 more years? The reason why I want to talk about this, for those of you that are saying either yes, you want Brady, or no, you don't, I want you to think of this number, 3 years. Is he going to play for that many? I'm going to give it 2 Chucky heads, and people are talking. Now, The Athletic, who I do respect to some degree, they interviewed some NFL executives. The thing that I don't like is they don't mention any names of the NFL executives, and they all talk about Tom Brady's future. One of the executives goes on to say that he thinks that Tom Brady's going to sign a 3-year extension worth $90 million. All of that will be guaranteed. The magic number that I really want you guys to think about is 3 years. Because earlier in March, Tom Brady talked about playing until he's 45. Watch this math. 43, 44, 45. You're welcome. You want to give me a clap? Go ahead, Jason Garrett style. So, Tom Brady, though, making $30 million a year is a little bit of a discount. I want people to think about that, okay? Like I alluded to before, Tom Brady, I don't really think at this point in his career, is really looking for money. But if you want to look at the highest paid quarterbacks per year, then you can see where Tom Brady would rank. Derek is going to make a little bit less, but let's say you would want Tom Brady for $30 million. Would you want him over Derek Carr? Okay? Because when you look at what Tom Brady has done the last 4 years, he's slowly started to slow down. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, 2017, he had a great year. 2018, a solid year. 2019, though, I think was the very first year where we saw Tom Brady not really be able to do it all by himself. We saw it this past week of going up against the Titans. He's not quite the same. That's what happens when you're about to turn 43. So I want everyone right now to pick a quarterback. We're sticking with Derek. We're going to go with Tom Brady. So if you want to stick with Derek Carr, I want you to type 4. Okay? If you want to stick with Tom, or if you want to go with Tom Brady, I want you to type 12. I'm seeing some people say stop. I get it. I don't want Tom Brady either. I'll be very, very transparent with you. I'm doing this show because there are a lot of rumors, there are a lot of stuff out there on the internet about the Raiders wanting Tom Brady or Tom Brady coming to the Raiders. So I'm making the show to literally give you my opinion on these BS rumors. It's why I gave it 0 Chucky heads. Tuck rule, tuck that. Now, if for those of you that are watching, okay, if you might get hit with a YouTube ad break. So what I want you to do is I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to type 4 for Derek Carr or type 12 for Tom Brady. Next rumor. Tua, he's declaring, okay? Is this going to impact the Raiders? How many Chucky heads is this rumor? I'm going to let you know, okay, in just a second. So I want you guys to just stay tuned. But first, If you love the NFL draft, I want you to subscribe to the Raiders Report. I'm going to be live doing videos the entire offseason. We're going to be dropping daily videos. And if you love the NFL draft, I'm going to start doing more here for the Raiders Report. Click that big red button so you don't miss any. Let's get into Tua. I do think it's going to impact the Raiders draft. This one's for Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. So on Monday, Tua declared, and NBC calls him a likely top 5 pick. And to be honest, I agree. Now, I know that he's recovering from a serious hip injury. So for those of you that are asking, Mitch, how does this impact the Raiders draft? The Raiders are going to trade up for him, right? Well, I might talk about that one on Thursday. So Tua, to me, I think is going to be the second quarterback drafted in 2020. Joe Burrow obviously will be the first of the Bengals. The Redskins, the Lions, and the Giants, I think, are unlikely to draft a quarterback. Now, you could see the Chargers, right? They could potentially draft a quarterback in Phillip Rivers. But the reason why I think this impacts the Raiders draft is because every single year, quarterbacks go, I think, a little bit higher than what they're supposed to. So here are some top notable quarterbacks. I think in terms of the quarterbacks going before the Raiders' first pick at 12, I mean, Burrow, Herbert, Tua, they all have a chance. Heck, I've seen crazier things happen, right? Daniel Jones went 6th overall. Maybe Jake Fromm goes early. The point I am trying to make is that mean other notable players, other talented players, you could see slide because teams are going to start trading up to grab a quarterback, which is good news for the Raiders who have picked 12, and they could see some players slide. So I asked it a little bit earlier on the show, and I'm going to ask it again. Should the Raiders draft a quarterback? I want you to type D for draft, or I want you to type P for pass. So if you're Mike Mayock, congrats. If you're Jon Gruden, I want you to type D for draft or type P for pass. So should the Raiders draft a quarterback in 2020? Let me know in the comments section. Now, today's sponsor is BetDSI, the internet's #1 sports book. They have an unbelievable deal right now that I need you guys to hear. So if you go to chatsports.com/bet, if you use that promo code Raiders120, that gets you a 120% deposit bonus. What does that mean? You put down 50, you get 60 for free. If you want to bet on the NFL playoffs, if you want to bet on the Raiders next season, there's one place to do it. That's at BetDSI. Next slate of rumors. You ready? I sure hope so, because you're going to get them anyway. Are the Raiders going to draft Jalen Hurts? Quarterback out of Oklahoma. Can y'all just say it with me? No, the Raiders are not drafting Jalen Hurts in the first round. Tuck rule. Tuck that. I saw an article from Fanside, and they did a mock draft, and I laugh at this article because of the people Fanside hires. So they write, Oklahoma Jalen Hurts projects as an adequate starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to draft an adequate quarterback in the very first round when I have a quarterback in Derek Carr. Call me crazy. But if you're trying to draft an adequate quarterback, maybe that's your problem. Or maybe you're just trying to write an adequate, half-decent article. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to do things half-ass around here, though. He says that, Jalen Hurts is accurate. You're wrong. He says that he can read progressions. You're wrong. And then, basically just goes on to say that he's a really, really good quarterback. And in my opinion, you're wrong. You can look at the numbers, which a lot of y'all are going to do, okay? I get it. But Jalen Hurts is not an NFL quarterback. And if you think that he's a first-round talent of a quarterback, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Sure, we want a mobile guy. I get it. But I don't want a quarterback who's most talented in the rushing game. Some of you are like, well, Mitch, he could be Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is not an NFL quarterback. He is a player that is fun to watch, and he will make every roster. Jalen Hurts will make a roster, but he is not a starting caliber quarterback. So let me know in the comments. Type C for Derek or type H for Jalen Hurts. Who would you rather have? Because if you're drafting Jalen Hurts 19th overall in the first round, and I'll just say it in there because in Fanside they said, oh, you could pair him with CeeDee Lamb. If you're drafting Hurts in the first round, you're starting him over Carr. And I'm sorry if there's anybody in there right now typing their H. I feel bad for you because Jalen Hurts has no business starting over Derek Carr. Absolutely none. So you better start typing your C's. All right, next rumor. We'll talk about Derek here. Are the Raiders going to keep Derek Carr in 2020? There's going to be rumors all offseason around Derek, and I get it. Some of you have already been like, Mitch, why are we talking about it? 2 reasons. 1, it's my job to, and because other people are out there talking that they're going to get rid of Derek. Now, last week, I probably would have given this 4 Chucky heads. This week, I'm only going to give it 3, and I think it's pretty likely. I think it's a 99.9% chance. Between you and me, when I hear 99.9, that means normally it's all systems go, right? So I saw an article out there from Matt Miller of Bleacher Report where he goes on to say that everything I've heard says Derek Carr is safe in 2020. Maybe Matt watches the show because guess what? I've said I think Derek is safe in 2020. Now, like I said before, I would have given this 4 Chucky heads if it wasn't for this quote by Jon Gruden earlier in the week. I'm not going to get all the next year scenarios. I'm just going to say that 7-9 is a step forward. Statistically, we took a step forward. We have to get a lot of guys healthy, and we have a lot of things to look at and to evaluate before we start making any assumptions. He was also talking about Derek because Derek said, I don't really know what the future holds. He said his future is uncertain. That's okay. And also the fact that Jon didn't commit to Carr being the quarterback is a reason why I didn't give it 4 Chucky heads. Anything's possible, right? Shit, if the Bengals pass on Joe Burrow, maybe some crazy shit happens. I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. But I've seen crazier things. Remember 2 years ago when I was like, Khalil Mack probably is going to get traded. The amount of F-bombs that I got thrown at my way were insane. The bottom line is anything can happen. It's the NFL. So this is what Derek has done the last 4 years, okay? Since we've paid him, I don't think he's really lived up to the hype. But over the last 2 seasons, he has not had the talent around him like he had in 2015, like in 2016. Now, Derek might never be the MVP caliber quarterback that we paid for, but he's a good quarterback. He's an average quarterback. And right now in the NFL, we are spoiled with very good quarterbacks. So for those of you that want to trade him, I think we'd probably only get a 3rd or a 4th round pick. Actually, probably only get a 4th round pick. So, and now is the year that we could actually cut him if we decided to. Yes, it's a $5 million cap hit, but for me, I'm sticking with Derek. I think he gives us the best option to win this year. We have some money to play with. We have some picks in the draft. If there's one thing that we did very well this past season was make solid picks in the draft. So why not we get Derek some talent and move on forward? So do you believe in Derek Carr? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I do believe in Derek. I think he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. So I would type my Y for yes. So I've been doing a lot of talking, doing a lot of rambling. Carrie Broader says 4. Isaiah says, yes, I believe. Got Eden Young saying that they believe. Chris Smith believes. V Raider, who's one of my top fans. If you want to become a top fan on Facebook, like, share the video. Makes it a lot easier for me to see who's watching. Got over 530 people watching on YouTube right now. So James Moore says yes. Daniel Herbert says no. California Raptor says yes. Jason says yes. Chemo Whitaker, California, yes. Zach says he believes. Appreciate it. Continue to get those comments flowing in here. Do you believe in Derek Carr? Y for yes or N for no. Now, for those of you that have said, Mitch, I like your shirt. I got a new shirt. It's from Fanatics. And if you guys want some awesome Raiders gear, listen up, okay? If you want that hat, chatsports.com/Raiders hat. That hat right now is 40% off. If you just want a whole bunch of Raiders gear, though, maybe you're not a hat guy. They got T-shirts. They got quarter zips. They got sweaters. All of it, and there's a ton of stuff. Just go to chatsports.com/Raiders sale. They got stuff up to 50% off, but it's a limited time only, okay? So for a limited time, you can get these unbelievable deals. Let's say Santa didn't come to you because you were naughty. You and me both. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders sale. Get yourself some new gear. Let's go to my last rumor. Okay? Are the Raiders drafting a wide receiver in round 1? How many Chucky heads would you give this? I'll give you a hint. It's on screen already. Yeah? You ready? 3 Chucky heads. I think it's pretty likely that the Raiders draft a wide receiver in round 1. When I think of the 2 people that, honestly, I probably respect the most as draft analysts, it's Matt Miller and it's Tom Downey. Now, Tom's my number 1 guy. You guys know that. But when the 2 best draft analysts, in my opinion, have the Raiders taking a wide receiver in round 1, y'all are dumb not to listen, okay? So when I saw Matt Miller come out and say that he does anticipate the Raiders drafting a wide receiver, that's great. And for those of you that are subscribed to the Raiders Report, youtube.com/Raiders Report, or if you're subscribed to our other channel at Chat Sports, you'll know that Tom has mocked a wide receiver to the Oakland Raiders. Now, this was an interesting quote that I saw from Miller. The Raiders have 2 selections in round 1 and will do defense and a wide receiver. The belief is that the team will go linebacker or wide receiver first, and then circle back with a cornerback or wide receiver with the pick from Chicago. Did any of y'all picture or find out what he said there? He mentions wide receiver for both picks. Okay? So the fact that he's mentioning wide receiver for 12 and for 9 is why I'm going to ask you this question. So here are Tom Downey's top 5 wide receivers right now. You got CeeDee Lamb, number 1. Jerry Jeudy, number 2. Henry Ruggs, 3. T. Higgins out of Clemson, 4. And Laviska Shenault, number 5. So if you're in the big boardroom, okay? That sounded strange. Who would you draft? I want you to type 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm going to let this up on screen for a little bit. I want you to have a debate, okay? So talk about it in the comments. Yell at each other. It's all good. Who would you rather have? So if you want CeeDee Lamb, type 1. If you want Jerry Jeudy, type 2. Henry Ruggs, type 3. When I talked to Tom about Henry Ruggs, he said he could beat John Ross's 4.2240. That's blazing. T. Higgins, type 4. Or Shenault, I want you to type 5. Right now, from what I'm seeing, somebody just typed 55. That means you really want Laviska. I'm actually seeing predominantly some 3s and some 1s. I do see some 2s in there. Spoiler alert, you are going to see 2 of these Raiders coming up here in just a little bit on the Raiders Report. So for those of you that follow me on Instagram, you might know that I went to New Mexico this past week for New Year's. I met a lot of amazing people. And I'll tell you what, New Mexico, they know how to party. So I met my guys Donnie, I met Penguin Raider, met some pretty unbelievable people. They showed me a very good time. And yes, I do have a beer that I got from New Mexico. They also said, Mitch, you need to look a little bit more New Mexican. So, or as the words that they used, a cholo. So the one guy gave me his hat. They brought me a Chucky doll. Gave me some sick rings. You can let me know how many Chucky heads you give this picture. Judging by it, you probably should give me 0. But I had a lot of fun. And I just want to give a shout out to the people in New Mexico for showing me a good time. So for those of you that want to get to know me maybe a little bit more and get to know, who I am and what I represent, you guys can hit me up on IG at MitchellRenz365. I like to get to know a lot of people. I've interacted with some people here in Dallas. I go meet random people in New Mexico. The way that happens is by the interaction on social media. So if you want to get to know me just a little bit better, hit me up on IG at MitchellRenz365. If you don't, block me at MitchellRenz365. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.